Hi everyone, Barry here from Mitosu Crafts. Thank you for joining me today, and thank you for joining me for the Stamp Around UK video hop. This month's theme is a sketch challenge, so this is a sketch we have been given to work from this month, and I am going to be using the lovely Snowflake Wishes stamp set along with the So Many Snowflakes dies, these ones right here, which I'm going to be using, along also with the Winter Snow embossing folder, which is this one right here. Let's get a glare, there we go. So that's what I'm going to be using for the stamp set, dies and embossing folders. We'll also be using the Snowflake Splendor Designer Series paper, this one here. And you have got these lovely pattern paper, snowflakes, watercolour effects, yeah, some really nice salt technique, really nice patterns here for you to choose from and use. To pair with that, I am also going to be using the Balmy Blue glimmer paper, which is this one here, and it's a lovely non-shedding glitter paper, or glimmer paper as we call it, and that's what I'm going to be using. I would also be using several other products throughout this video as well, and as I use them I will point them out to you and let you know, so you can make a note of them if you wish to purchase them. With that in mind, you can purchase anything you see us using via our online shop, so please head over to mitosucrafts.com. Links to our online shop will be there, or you can also find them down below in the description to our online shop. If you go over to our website as well, you will also find this month's current host code, so you can pop that in when prompted to at the checkout. It will allow us to then send you a thank you card and a little extra something as a little way of saying thank you for shopping with us next month as well. So we so please pop that code in when you do purchase from us. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to crack on and start creating this card for you. What I've got is I have got my card base here measuring 14.6 centimetres by 21 centimetres, and I've scored it in half at 10.5 centimetres, and this is going to create my card base. Okay, so I'll just use my bone folder to crease that up. I have got myself some Designer Series paper here, and this is measuring 9 centimetres by 13.1 centimetres. And I've got myself another bit of Whisper White Thick here measuring 8 centimetres by 12.1 centimetres. So they will give me a perfect matte layer like this right here. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to do a little bit of stamping. So I'm going to grab myself a bit of scrap paper, and I'm going to pop that on like so. And I have got myself the two stamps. So the two stamps I'm going to be using from this set to start off with are these ones right here. Okay, so I've got those already mounted, and I'm going to be stamping these in Balmy Blue ink. Just move it out of the way, put my ink pad there. And I'm just going to create my own background now. So I'm just going to go round and just ink these up, just offsetting them. So I'm just going to go one by one, and then just work my way through and filling as many of these gaps as possible, like this. And there we go. We have a lovely background there with the Balmy Blue, using all of those stamp sets, using those two stamps, should I say. They work perfectly with each other, these two small ones. They're kind of like, they're curved and angled, so they kind of work their way, and you can just put the smaller ones in between the larger ones to create an all-over stamp, all-over background without too many gaps, and it kind of makes it then look more natural, because you put the two stamp sets in between. I think it works quite well. It's almost as if it's been designed like that. I don't actually know if they have been designed like that, but it works perfectly. So there we go, that's that one. We are now going to move on to the detailed trio punch, and what I'm going to do, following my sketch, I've got these rounded corners top here and bottom, so I'm going to just round off the top right and the bottom left, and I'm also going to do the same with the Designer Series paper, so a bit on the top right and the bottom left, like that. And then those two are a perfect layer for each other, like that. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to use the lovely embossing folder, so that Winter Snow embossing folder, which we talked about earlier on. I'm going to bring this one in now, and I am going to emboss this stamped layer here. So I'm just going to pop that in like that, and then fold it down. So a little tip for you, the front, if you see with the Stampin' Up folders, if you've got the Stampin' Up logo on the front here, this is the front of the embossing folder. So these will be the bit which is going to be raised up. The back part will be the debossed side. So just if you're unsure on how it works, I always work now with the Stampin' Up logo on the front is going to be the front, which is what I want to be the front of my card. Okay, just a little tip there for you. I'm going to bring in the Stampin' Up Cut Emboss machine, or Suki as we are calling it, S-U-C-E, and perfectly named after one of our cats, Suki. And I'm going to use, let me just show this to you quickly before I bring that in. We're going to use the plates. So we've got platform number 1, and because we're using a standard embossing folder, it's going to be plate number 1, which they're numbered, and then the 2 3s, okay? And they are numbered there as well. And you've got 2 of these. So plate number 1 and 1 of the 3s in first, then the embossing folder in, hinge in first, then the second platform number 3, and then it is perfectly ready to run through. Sorry about the wobbles there. Put that to one side. And now we can open this up, and there you can see we've got a lovely embossed and stamped bit of paper, and even the debossed side I think looks absolutely lovely as well. When I did a prototype on this one, so do I use the debossed or the embossed side? I decided to use the embossed side, so the raised part rather than the debossed, but I think both sides look absolutely stunning. Okay. So what we can do now is we can go ahead and we can stick the embossed and stamped piece of cardstock onto the Designer Series paper. Like that. Matching up the rounded edges to each other. Just like that. And I'm enjoying using Designer Series paper as the layers at the moment, because especially with these ones, so you get these different colours shining through. Normally I'd use cardstock, but I'm really into using my Designer Series paper as my mat and layers at the moment. Once you've got that part stuck down, we can go ahead and we can then stick this to the card base, just like so. So I'm just going to pop that to one side just to dry up for a moment whilst we move on to the next part. Okay. I have got myself, I've already gone ahead and I've gone and done it, but what you will need is you will need some of the stitched circles and the scalloped circles. And I have used, on this one here, I have used the second one up from the bottom in the stitched circles, and I have used, I don't know how to, I have used a second one up on this one here, so it's on that side. So as they layer in, if you've got them, it's a second one up. So because they don't all layer next to each other, so they're a bit tight. So it's the second one which I've got here, so which is just going to give me a tiny portion. So that's what they look like together. Okay, once they are cut out, I've cut one out in Whisper White and I've cut one out in the Balmy Blue glimmer paper. Once they are done, you can see there, it just gives us a tiny amount of glitter coming through. So I've already gone ahead and I've gone and cut those bits out. So that's using the stitched circles and the scalloped circles dies. Okay, let's pop those back. So that's that part ready. So they are going to go at the back like that. But I'm not going to stick them down just yet. I'm going to just get my layers, get everything ready. But that's where that is going to get positioned. So you can keeping in mind with my sketch right here. I would also cut out some snowflakes. So I have got myself, again already, I've gone and cut myself out 2 of the larger ones, and I've got myself some of the smaller ones here. So, and I've got myself 2 of the medium, or 2, so I've got 2 mediums and I've got 2 smalls. So you can see what you have here. You've got a large, you've got a medium, and you've got a small. So I've got myself 2 mediums and I've got myself 2 smalls. And that's what I'm going to be using. Maybe only using 3 of them. I may use all 4 of them. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so that's those parts. And what I would do with these first, I've got myself some Winker Stella, and I'm just going to give these a little bit of a brush with a little bit of glitter, liquid glitter, just to finish these off. So at the moment they've just been cut out of regular Whisper White cardstock, and now we'll just glitter these up. So there we go, we have now cut and given our snowflakes a little bit of glimmer and shine. Okay, so hopefully that's coming across on the camera. So we've done all 4 of those. Okay, good, perfect. Next element I'm gonna get myself ready is I've got myself some balmy blue cardstock, and I'm going to do a little bit of heat embossing. So I've got myself my powders here. So I'm just going to treat my bit of cardstock first with an embossing buddy. So a bit of talcum powder or corn flour, something, whatever you've got, just to take away any of the stick, any greasy fingerprint marks. And I am going to be using the Snowflake Wishes for a Merry Christmas stamp set. Just grab my Versamark, and I will then just ink that sentiment up here. Well, first things first, actually, before I do that, I'm going to use the triple banner punch. There's a little bit of a tip for you here, nearly forgot to do it myself. This is measuring 1 inch. I'm just going to pop this in first, and I'm just going to punch off one end. Okay, save hold to keep this part. This part's important. Let's just anti-stack take away that, because I'll put my fingers over it again. Now I can ink this up and stamp this where I want it to be, so the correct positioning away from the edge here, what I'm happy with. And then I will heat emboss. Okay, we will do the next part in a moment. So I'm just going to bring in my powders here. So I need my white one, which is that one there. I'm going to pop that back in the tub and lid on so you don't spill it. I think that's just good housekeeping rules there. Tidy your powder away as soon as possible and get the lid on, otherwise you will knock it over eventually. Maybe not today, but eventually you will, and it will cause a great mess. So there we go, that's my sentiment there, which has been not heat set yet. So I'm going to grab my heat tool and we're going to set this. That's that part there now, nice and finished. It's really, really shiny, it's lovely. So what you can do now is with this part here as your test, because obviously now we've got to gauge where we're going to cut this part off. this is where this part comes in handy. You want to position that where you want it to be, away from, so that's the distance, so position it where you want it to actually, the corner bit to cut, so from your centimetre, so from the corner to the edge of the centimetre, so try and gauge it so it's the same on that side here. Hold that in place carefully and then grab yourself some snips and then just snip up this side here. Then you've got a straight edge. Then when you pop it into your trio, your banner punch, you will then have perfect positioning both sides. So if you struggle to get the positioning both sides, save hold of this part. Just do one first, stamp, save this part, and then measure out where you actually want it to be, because that part is now going to go over like this right here. Okay, so I'm going to now glue these two parts down. So before I actually do anything, this is just me, just being me now. There's too much glitter on here for me to waste. I can't waste it. So I'm just going to grab the dies. And I'm going to take out the smallest die, which is this one right here, which fits perfectly in the middle there. And we're just going to die cut this glitter one out. So there we go, we've got ourselves a nice balmy blue snowflake, because that's going to get covered up, so I didn't want to waste it. I'm sure a lot of you would agree with me. Now we can now stick the Whisper White part to this bit of glitter. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stick this onto some dimensionals at the back here. So I've got myself my large dimensionals. And we're just going to put these around like so. Remove the backs. And then that's just going to get popped in centrally, like so. So remember how the challenge was with the theme, with the sketch. So that's still kind of keeping on. Now I'm changing it slightly because I want my sentiment to go over the top of it. So whereas the sketch we've got the banner behind and the circle on front, I'm just mixing this up and I'm going the opposite way. So I'm just going to use some of the dimensionals here, and I'm going to pop some of the dimensionals on the end parts because they're going to be, they're loose and they're going to be stuck to that center part. It just will anchor them down quite nicely. And then just a little bit of glue across the center. And then that can go in like that. Just gonna just wanna so it's just a little bit off. So that's where it's great with liquid glue. So if you're not quite happy with the position first time round, you can lift it off and you can reposition. Okay, so that's that there first. Now, really, all we're going to do now is to finish this card off. Instead of using the flowers like we've got with the pattern right here, I'm going to now just use these with snowflakes. So it's just a matter of popping these snowflakes where I want them to be. So I'm either going to use the adhesive back snowflakes here, or the blue adhesive back gems. I'm going to start with the adhesive back snowflakes because these are quite subtle. I don't want to take away too much, so I'm just going to use these ones here. So take your pick, and I'm just going to maybe just pop one of those in the middle over here, just to kind of take away from the fact that there's a dimensional behind the back there, so it just covers that up ever so slightly. And maybe just one more. Where should I go? Like that. One around there. And there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I just need one more. Need to go an uneven number. Going to put the glue cap on the take your pick tool, and there we have it. There is my card inspired by that sketch. So if you've lost your Crafty Mojo, sketches are perfect for this. They give you an idea, give you a starting point, and then you can then just take it where you want it to go. And that there is my card, with a little bit of bling in there as well. There we go. Hope you enjoyed that. Please remember to hop around with the other blog hoppers down below. The links will be down below for them, so please remember to carry on to the next one and leave us some comments. Let us know what you think about these projects. We would love to hear your feedback. Thank you very much. Have a great day, and we will see you again very soon. Bye for now. Bye.